going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we're here with a little bit of difference in videos, because instead of we've got more of a discussion, more actually going over like a tier list instead, we haven't done for a while. So I thought it'd be nice to kind of do like a tier list of the set 1 leaders, like from the end of set 1 to see, because we can kind of see, like if you look back and see like from my my first Star Wars podcast episode, or like in the ScrubGames podcast, which I'm going to try and bring back. We had like a little discussion, me, Johnny, and Dan, about like what we feel set 1 leaders were. And now that the set 1's over, kind of go over and like give a view from like just myself of what I think the leaders ended at the end of set 1. So that's what we're going to do today. So remember as always to like, comment, and subscribe. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop. And by clicking the notification bell, you can get alerts to when my videos do drop, so you can watch them there and then, or at a later time that suits you best. So out of the way, let's get in straight into the video and kind of tier up the set 1 leaders to see where they kind of matched in, well, from my view, for the set 1 end of set 1. So starting off, we've got all the leaders here. So you can see like some are kind of going off a bit because like proportions to get them on. Because there's still like a whopping 18 leaders, because we've got the 2 star deck ones. So whopping 18 leaders is more than what most games get when it comes to like deck option stuff, which is what I really love about this game, is that you've got so many different deck options, because every leader can be played in 4 different ways because of 4 different aspects. You've got the double aspect from whatever aspect they have themselves, and then the 3 other aspects to go with it as well. So 4 different combinations for each leader, giving you, out of 18, 72 different leader combinations just for one set, which is amazing. If you compare it with like Dragon Ball Fusion World, that's a deck that, well, when for set 1 you had the 4 starter decks and you had 8 leaders in the set, giving you 12 different leaders, but they can only be played the color of their leader, meaning you only had one way to play each one, which, compare that as just 12 compared to 72 different combinations. It's absolutely amazing, especially when you want to try loads of different things, or just kind of like be different and just try out different options to see how it like fares. And with this one, we'll start off in the different aspects. We'll start off with the blue ones, being Vigilance. We'll then go to Command. Then we'll go to which is green. Then we'll go to Aggression, which is red. And then we'll go to yellow, which is Cunning. So we've got the 5 tiers, because normally all 5 tiers. I haven't gone with what most people do. Go with the S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. Because I don't think any I kind of feel like it's like better, like you can have this meta, which ones we know where the meta, where the most effective tactics available. If you didn't know what meta stands for, it stands for most effective tactics available. So we got that. So we've got the meta tier, which is what you would count on S tier. We've got strong, like cards, like ones that weren't quite meta, but then you could bring it and actually do, and were like actually strong ones that you'd expect to kind of see, even though they weren't the most effective, like the high top tier, but they were strong ones to play. And you got rogue, the ones that you don't really see often, but they could come in like snatch wins. And then you got potential ones that even if they weren't amazing for set 1, in future they could be a little bit better with like more cards. Like there's just like some cards or some kind of things away from actually being really good, but you kind of got potential currently, but they're not the greatest at the moment. And then we got the casual ones, the ones that aren't great. Well, aren't great if you want to play competitive and like be like try to win, but if you just want to be casual and have fun, they can be quite nice there. So now we've established the tiers. We're going to go start off with these. We'll go in like the order we've got here for each one. So we'll go from the beginning of villainy to like the heroic ones. And we've got Chronic. Now, Chronic started off pretty good. It was pretty nice with being one that was one that was pretty good. That it did go into start off like being a green blue and did pretty well. I think it won an event. I think at one point, I can't remember if it won or it topped, but it did start off very well. But then it's slowly come to realize that there are better decks. You can go for like blue-green, like you can go Item blue-green, you can go Palpatine blue-green, Krennic blue-green. Like there's better options out of Krennic, because all he really provides is that when when the leader area, just gives an extra +1 power to anything of yours that's got damage. So it kind of goes with the whole thing that he keeps getting shot constantly in the films, or in the Rogue One. And that translates into his effect, which basically damage units get an extra bit of power, so they cut a little bit stronger after they get damaged. And then when he is deployed, then he does come down with Restore 2, so he starts healing when he swings, but then once he's gone, you lose that healing. It doesn't get on both sides, but he does keep the whole, and if it's like anything that's damaged, of yours gets an extra 1 power. So even counts himself as well. So you're coming at a 2/7, which is not too bad. Then when he's damage, he's a 3/7. But you kind of fell off a little bit in the end. So I think yes, like wow, the materialist is kind of like difficult to put him because he didn't end up being probably like meta. He is strong, but there's everyone's that do better than him. So I'd say like he's a rogue pick. You can still do pretty good. He's more of a rogue one than going because if you didn't want to like trying to play Iden, Pulp, or Tarkin, you could potentially go that. Or even if you don't want to play like a red blue, you would play like the ever red leaders instead with blue. So I think like he ended up being a bit rogue. He did start like strong, but he kind of fell off after a bit after people were kind of discovered what they want to do and tried different things. So some decks that didn't really see play until the end. Like Pulp Yellow is one that didn't really see much play until the end of the format. So yeah, it's actually pretty good, pretty strong. But yeah, like he's more of a rogue one when it comes to the end. Then we've got Iden here. So Iden's one of those ones that is really good for control. You can play it double blue if you wanted to go like have a more focus on mill, which is very control. You have the like one on red option. You have the green options. So you have all the different combinations of it. You can technically go yellow, but there's not as much benefit to yellow. Like not every leader can run every single different aspect combination and do well. Some of them like they don't really have much synergy with some aspects. They have better synergy with certain aspects. And Iden is one where 3 out of 40 aspects works really well with it. So I would say Iden was like one of the meta ones, like one of the more control decks to play. I would say, or actually, I wouldn't say it was meta. I wouldn't say it's one of the most effective tactics, but it was like one of the strongest control decks because it kind of like defeated control quite easily because it had the whole focus on milling out as well. Would be able to use vigilance for just 4, and also then made it so when it came to like the mirror, like the control matchup, you had an easy win because you had the cheaper milling options of heal. You had built-in heal from the lead as well, and you had a just better time. So I say, yeah, Iden was strong. I would say one of the strongest ones, one of the ones you expect to see play. Maybe not the most effective tactic. And we come to the heroic side of blue. So we've got Chewbacca, and this is more of a like, he's. I'm gonna say it's casual because even though he potentially has potential, like he has, like even though he's a Wookiee, and we are getting Wookiees in set 2, he doesn't have much synergy with Wookiees outside of being a Wookiee himself. So there's not much potential there. Like he revolves around Sentinel. Like you're on the unawakened when he's in the lead area. On the undeployed side, he can place a account and give it Sentinel to kind of like protect your base from and every units for the turn by you having that guy out. And when he comes down, which is quite late at 7 resources, so very late, like one of the like not the latest, but one of the latest. And he comes down. He has Grit and Sentinel, and he has like whopping 9 HP. So he has a 9 health, and then with that plus Grit, the more damage he takes, the stronger he gets. And he also Sentinel, so you have to force attack him. And the Grit will put in work and like power up the more hits he takes. But the problem is he deploys very late, so if you want to deploy him with any chance of actually playing him in the game, that's like if you want to get aggro, you need to like do a bit of ramp. So if you want to pair that to kind of get him out as easy as possible, you're going to need to combine him with command. And even then with the new Wookiees we're getting, we get some in, like we get a majority in blue and heroic, but then we get some in yellow, so some in cunning. But then cunning doesn't provide you any ramp to actually like help you deploy a leader as quickly as possible to actually make use of him. Because when he's deployed, he's pretty strong. Because Grit plus 9 health means he's going to be hitting hard, and since the Sentinel will have to force you to attack into him and be the leader unit, which has like limited ways to kind of remove it, then you can put a bit of a punch in. But the only problem is, yeah, like very late deploy. If you want to play him in the aspects where like benefits more, you don't get command. If you're not playing command, you kind of lose out on things that could be useful for him. So yeah, he's a pretty casual one, not the best, and while he could get some potential, he's not really focused on Wookiees, even though we get more Wookiees. Then we got Chirrut. So this is one I would put at the like higher than Cunning from Rogue. So I'll say it is strong. Like, I actually do love it. It's my favorite leader of set 1, but it's more roping. Like, not one that you'd expect to see at a tournament, but one that basically can be brought and be quite devastating, be quite good. Actually put in good work and get you some pretty nice wins. But he's strong. He basically does the same as kind of like just the rebel stuff just chucked in. Like if you want to get a red version, you just chuck the rebel stuff in, like the good like heroic red stuff in. which is the same as most decks. If you're doing that, you mostly go for like Sabine or Leia, but he does have some benefits in like being blue and some of the things, so like the fact he's a leader that comes down and can't be killed by damage, and you can just always healing to avoid him from being killed at the end of the turn by damage, making him like one that can stick around like and be almost unkillable. It's like very nice. Some very nice synergy with force cards. Like the more force cards we get, the more benefits he has. Being like a survivable force unit, that's hard to remove. It's pretty nice for there. So I'll say he's a very good rogue leader. Could go in the strong. I do want to put him in strong, but I feel like he's more rogue. He's not one you'd expect to see in a tournament, like or like expect to definitely 100% play against. And then we've got Luke. I say Luke is probably in rogue as well. So he can do pretty well, and he has like you see if ever you play in it, but I think he isn't the highest in rogue. So I would say like probably low down Cunning than rogue, because he's a pretty nice one. The fact like he doesn't deploy too late as 6 resources, not too bad, and he does have pretty solid stats. So 4/7 is very solid stats, and also just constantly provides you with shields. But the only problem is if you want to provide it on its when he's in the leader area, you have to keep playing behind curve, because you have to make sure you got one energy left out to make sure the card you played can get shield, and it's only on the heroic card you played. So if you play anything that's not a heroic, you can't give a shield to it. And as well as that, there's got to be a card you play, so you can't give just anything shield until it's deployed. You have to give the card you play shields if you want to. And sometimes when you want to deploy it and like make use of things about Obi-Wan, you've got to play out Obi-Wan and then deploy and give it a shield. You can't do this at the same turn unless you like can get wait a turn or ramp up. But he is pretty nice one. He can go quite well with things like goes quite well with a command and cunning as well, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, he's not the most amazing, but you can get some wins in he can perform. So I would say he's a rogue one, because he's not something that neat like has potential for next day. He has the potential now. He's pretty good, but he's more of a rogue card leader. So for first slot for the Vigilance ones, we got Iden as being a strong leader at the end of set 1, and then we got Chirrut, Krennic, and Luke being rogue, and then Chewbacca being a very casual leader. So now we move on to command, early form command, because remember when it comes to the leaders, every leader in the set got every aspect got 4 leaders. They got 2 in the dark side and 2 in the light side, so 2 heroic, 2 villainy, and then we got an extra 2 in the starter deck, being 1 for vigilance and 1 for aggression. And in set 2, we get 1 for command and 1 for cunning, being like Moff Gideon and the Mandalorian. So that way we got equal out, and every aspect's got then 9 leaders from set 2, so it kind of balances there. For set 1, some aspects at an extra 1 leader. So for command, we've got Palpatine, and while I wouldn't say this is meta, like so you expect to see, but it was very strong, and I'd probably say it's stronger than Iden. You didn't see it much, but I would say it's not stronger than Iden, but it's very strong deck, like very strong and versatile. Like you can play it like the green blue to be one of the best ways to play control in the dark side with Palpatine, because you access the good green stuff to ramp to get him out quickly, because he's the latest deploying leader in the game for set 1, and also he's already built into the color control of ramp, so like command, so he has access to all the ramp stuff, and he has access to all 3 if you want to play command, resupply, and super laser attack. So pretty good there, and you can combine it with any different color. You can combine him with red if you want, but I would normally go for him red, but it's still playing him. Double green is very good. With blue is really good, and even yellow is like one that recently pops up. At the end of the format is also proven to be very good as well. So I'll say, Palpatine is a strong leader for the end of set 1, and a really nice one at that. And we got Tarkin. Now, Tarkin has popped up in tournaments, and I would say he's rogue, and I would say he's better than Krennic. I personally believe Krennic to be, out of the like blue and green leaders, like the command and vigilance leaders, he is the worst one, Krennic, in my view. But I say Tarkin is a very nice one, because you can play him in a very different, multiple different ways. Like just like with most of them, like you don't play him in all the aspects, and mainly ones you kind of see Tarkin, ones he kind of performs well is like blue and red. He gets more control aspect in blue, and then more aggressive aspect with red. And he's a pretty nice one, because he literally just keeps giving your Imperial units by paying 1, like the same kind of thing as Luke, where for 1 you can basically give something to like a certain kind of unit, and in this case an Imperial unit. And since there's a lot of most dark side units are Imperial, you can just constantly give experience and then just rack up. There's no limit or like no condition, like limitation on what you can give to what experience you can give to. You just keep giving it one every turn as long as you got the energy to pay, and you can just make things a lot stronger. Then when he's deployed, he then doesn't have to pay an energy, just he's attacked and then increase units out. And just like Krennic, he comes in at 2/7, pretty healthy. Not the best damage, but still some chip damage, while also then making things stronger, which is really nice. Next, we got the heroic units, and we got Hera, and she's one that has potential. Like she has, like people do play her. She has done nicely, not the best, but she's done nicely. But she's one where it all depends on the the only effect she's got is allowing you to give play all the different specters, ignoring the aspect party. And then when she's deployed, she can actually give unique units an extra an experience every time she swings. So she it has to be a unique unit you experience to. But then she does come down not the earliest 6, and with not too bad stats as well. 4/6 is not too bad. But then she has some really nice combinations with Ghost and her. She has some really nice combinations with Spectre, and you're allowed to play it. So if you want to play double aspect, which is the best way to play it currently for set 1, you then have a larger card pool than most, because you're locked into a smaller card pool with double aspect. You have more options because you have the all the Spectre cards as well, which are two events and I think 6 about 6 units. So an extra 8 more cards, I think it is. So you got one for each cast going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you got the 2 events as well, so you get 8 additional cards, and most decks do with a double aspect. So it's quite nice. But then she's got more potential than ever. She isn't the best at the moment. She has a lot of potential where the more specters we get in future, the better she becomes. But currently for set 1, she has potential. She's a very nice one, but then she kind of lacks lacks more because she doesn't do too much. Doesn't do anything in the lead area. Just has a lot apart from the deck building. Has deck building effects more to actually play an effect. And while she is quite fun, quite strong, you can play her quite well. She's probably weakest of the green ones, but has a lot of potential due to her interaction with specters. And we've got Leia. Now, Leia is strong, don't get me wrong, but she is one that seemed to be. I would have thought she would have been stronger than Sabine because you get so many different swings in so many different aspects. Or so many swings and so few actions. But the problem is, the problem with Leia is that she is it's not as great as Sabine. As long as you control board, she doesn't put as much work in. So if you can keep the board down low and keep the units she has to a minimum, then she kind of struggles actually doing stuff. She can't be as aggressive as Sabine, but she is pretty good. I would say she's probably lowest. She's quite good, a very nice effect. But then the only thing is Sabine does what she wants to do better, and she's a lot easier to kind of hold off by controlling the board compared to something like Sabine. So I feel she's a rogue. She could be quite strong, but then she's more rogue that you wouldn't expect to see Leia into an event, but you might see it pop up and she could do well depending on the format, there's certain kind of aspects situations and stuff like that. That brings us with the brings us to the end of Cunning. So from the Cunning ones, we see Palpatine is a strong one. For Rogue, we've got Tarkin and Leia, and then we've got Hera with the potential there. So then we come down to the aggression units, and we've got once again number 5, just like we had with Vigilance, because we've got the Vader to go with Luke. And starting off with Vader, he is a very strong one, and I would say he's the strongest of the strong leaders in there, because you can play him a few ways. He's not the greatest with Cunning. I don't think anybody's trying with Cunning, or just seen it's not much that meshes with him with Cunning. But when it comes to the other aspects, you can double aggression. You can be a lot better as double aggression in the next set. As we get more aggression cards and more things to go with it, be quite nice. And with the other aspects, you can get him very nicely in control with Vigilance, which is good. So a bit of blue. And you can play him very good mid-range with Command as well to get a ramp to get him out a little bit quicker. So he's a very strong strong one. I wouldn't say he's the meta the one they expect to be, but he's one that's brought to kind of help combat the meta, to help with things like Boba and stuff like that. So I believe it's the strongest of the strong for the strong tier. And then we have Grand Inquisitor, and this is another one Rogue, and I think this is stronger. I think it's stronger than these 3. The Krennic, Luke, and Leia. Ground Quiz is very nice, and the more in set 2 he gets a lot stronger because you get more units with grit and more units with with grit and with free power, and with the combination of both grit and free power, because this is a very probably the most aggressive in terms of villainy, because most of the time when it comes to different aspects, villainy is more controlly in their cards, whereas the heroic ones are more aggressive. They want to just throw out damage, just hit aside as quickly as possible, whereas the villainy stuff wants to just basically take control of it and command the game. But Grand Inquisitor is more of like an aggressive one in a control aspect, which is quite interesting. And he's not too bad for the set 1. He's pretty decent. He's pretty good. You can take him out and you get some wins with him. Actually do quite well. That's why he's in we put him in Rogue. But he gets a lot stronger set 2, and then he's a little bit weaker than the other ones because they kind of lean into his more aspects where he's he's got a fair few things you can use for this set, but he gets a lot better options. More in the future, we get more options, better things, more things with great, more things with better effects and free power to kind of make use of his effect. Then we got IG88, and this is one I'm going to put in potential because it's not great at the moment. It's one that deploys quite early, quite decent power, 5 power and 4 health. So not the most durable one, and like with Iden and Chirrut and Sabine as well. He's a leader that can be taken out by takedown. A card just when he deploys, or just for 4 energy, take him out before he can potentially do anything. So you have to watch out for that, because it's a card that's like a staple for any blue deck at the moment. But his effect is more beneficial the more things you can get, and no matter what aspect combination you do for set 1, there's not many ways or not much you can really do to kind of swarm at the board. He looks to be one that the more aggression units you get, more cheap aggression units you get, he can be a very good double aggression leader, because if you can spam out a lot of small units, cheap units on the board, you can get benefit of his effect, which when he's deployed gives all your units raid 1, so they're one power stronger when they attack, and then put that with the double aspect event from set 1 being Rallying Cry, which gives all your units for the turn, which is a free cost double aggression aspect card, an extra raid 2. So with leader and that, you can give all your units raid free. So when attacking, you can swing for extra free damage and can be very aggressive. You can get a wide board. But currently, with just a limited set, it's just set 1. There's not many units you can get, no matter what this different aspect combinations, while also having that access to that card to make it so he's good. But in a few sets, when we get more and more cards and more aggressive cards and more cheap units to play out, he can be very, very good and maybe very, very devastating as well. Then we come to the heroic side of it. We got Cassian Andor, and this is more of a casual. You don't really see him in play. It does have a really nice effect where if you do 3 damage to a base, you can when he's in the lead area, you can pay 1 to kind of draw a card, and then when he's deployed, when you do 3 damage to the base, you draw a card, and he comes out on Saboteur with a 4/6, not too bad for a 6 drops, the same kind of stat drops, stats and turn drop as both. Not as both, but as Hera, which is pretty decent. It's pretty decent drop at 6 resources, also with good stats as well. But the problem is, you still got to play a turn behind, like with Luke, and like with is it just Luke? Yeah, just like with Luke, you've got to play a turn behind, where you've got to keep an energy open. So when you're on before you're deployed, you can pay out 1 to, after you dealt for damage to a base, you can draw a card. So it's quite it's like one of those ones where you got to play a turn, you got to play behind on curve, because you got to leave an energy open to be able to make use of his effect to draw a card. And when he's deployed, that's when you can just start swinging and drawing cards then. But then he's normally going to be a target to be taken out as quickly as possible to kind of hold off that draw, and it might even take a while to get to that point. So he's casual, so he's pretty decent, but then he's kind of he doesn't do much more than most everyone's want to do. That's a combination and stuff like that, and his effect, while does give you a good amount of draw, it's just you have to keep playing behind, which is not the greatest. And then we have Sabine. This is straight away meta. This is one of the decks is most effective. It's the most effective tactic available for aggression. If you want to play very aggro, just basically spam out damage, just keep hitting board and just hitting faces quickly and as much as possible. And this is when you go to an event, this is one you expect to see when you play any games. You expect to come across this at least a few times potentially. And then just like that, we're going into, well, first of all, before we head into the last aspect being cunning, we'll have to basically just recap on where we put the aggression one. So we've got the first meta one being Sabine, then strong we got Vader joins that. We got one in rogue being Grand Inquisitor, one in potential being IG8, and then one in casual being Cassian Andor. So one in each aspect, well, one in each tier for aggression, which is more spread out than the other ones. And then we come to the last one being a cunning. So, straight away, Boba being the top one, the top dog, the most, what most people would say is the best leader in the game and one like most effective because it comes down not the earliest as like Sabine, but early enough, being 5 resources, along with a 4/7 stat distribution, and also as well as that the potential to keep giving you more resources so you can play more things and do more things with resources, which is very good. Because when you're on the leader area, as long as you've taken just left the board, not have to be defeated, but just leave the board, you're bounced out, spun away, or defeated, you get to untap one on the when your leader is not deployed, and when it is deployed, you get to untap 2 after you attack, as long as something's left the board. When your opponent's units have left the board, this phase. So very strong effect, very good stats, very good deploy aspect, and a very good character with some not too bad traits as well. So these are the two, certainly with Boba and Sabine, and you always expect to see when you go to event, you expect to play against some Boba or some Sabine, or the other ones could be like ones you're not like 100% expecting the 100% play against, but might play against. Then we got Thrawn, and this is one that's rogue. I've seen him do quite show up, and he's pretty nice. Got a pretty nice effect. Like comes down at a 3/9, which is not too bad. Just not as bulky as Palpatine, but still quite bulky. Also allowing you to have that kind of knowledge because at the start of each phase, each start of each turn, you get to look at what the top card of each player's deck is. You kind of see what they're going to draw into next, what you're going to draw into next, to kind of use for his effect, which is all about like tapping things down, like being cunning, being controlling. And he's normally played as like most of the way he's just played in just blue to kind of do the control aspect. Like blue is normally the control aspect. You put it with something else like green, red, or yellow to kind of control things. And Thrawn is one of the main ones that you kind of do with yellow, blue to kind of control the game. And while he's not something you'd expect to play, he could still pop and do some pretty good stuff. And he is quite nice that he plays. Not the strongest, but then he can surprise you as well if you're not expecting him. Then we got Han Solo. Now, Han Solo I would say is strong. And I'd say like he's probably more. Yeah, I'll say just. I would say it's probably a bit stronger than that of Vader because like he's one that is not 100% expect to play against. Like, he's not the ones like you're like building your deck to kind of combat like Boba and Sabine, but he's a deck that is very strong, very strong because he's like it's built in ramp along with if you put a command ramp is always the main way to play him, and he can do very well. He can help to like defeat the some of the main decks, like easily defeat like things like Sabine and the control decks. And he is a very good leader, like very good. But I wouldn't say he's the one you expect to like play against in a top when you go to an event. You're not expecting to play against. You expect to play against Boba or Sabine. Whereas Han, you might play him, but you're not expecting to like 100% be able to play him at least once in a tournament. But it's one that you might end up playing against, and one that is very strong as well. And then we got Jin, and this is one that I'm just gonna slam down in casual because I have one of my locals with Jin. I went double command. They got like a hand control version, and they work quite well. But like she's not the best. Like she has a pretty nice effect, allowing you to like exchange exchange units and come out on top, where you take one less damage than from that battle. So you can have like crash things that would normally both like take each other out, but then survive the battle because of her effect. But she's not the best because she doesn't. She has good strategy distribution, just like Boba 4/7, but she comes down a little bit later, and like her effect isn't as I mean, like she doesn't do too much, but then she allows it for combat. But then there's different ways to kind of like remove things from the board outside of combat, which is the downside to effect. But she's very good for draft and sealed. But for constructed, she's just not quite there at the moment. I don't know if whether to put in potential because she has more things to play out. But then with her effect, I'm really not sure what potential is there for effect to kind of make use of it. So I thought she's more casual, something more take locals and have fun, enjoy, potentially do well like I did, but not something you would expect to see in a tournament or anything like that. So that is it. What I feel like it is, but the tier list for the leaders coming into at the end of set one. So for like the meta decks you expect to play against 100% at least once in a event would be Boba and Speed. And then strong ones you expect you probably run into one event being Han Solo, Vader, Iden, and Palpatine. And then some rogue ones that you can probably take to event and practically do well, or maybe get popped up in a tournament and surprise you, being Chirrut, Tarkin, Krennic, Luke, Leia, and Thrawn. And then the two that are potentially in receipt play but have a lot of potential for in future if they get the right stuff, like if like being Hera in IG8, with Hera being the more specters we get, the more potential she has with those specters. And also then with IG8, the more like cheap units you can get to make use of things like Rani and Cry along with an effect could be very, very strong. And then more casual ones that aren't that great, but then you can still have a lot of fun playing them. Like I wouldn't say they're trash, but there's just less competitive ones and more casual ones to play, being Chewbacca, Cassian, and Jin. So that's it for me today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. If you have any comments regarding this, let me know if you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm right, where you put them on yourself. Get a bit of discussion going. Like if you think anything should go higher or lower, what do you think? Let me know in the descriptions and get a bit of discussion going about it. That is it for me today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.
Like a boss.